Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi BK students, back again with Miss Raisa in science lesson. So, for today, we are going to learn the second chapter of your book, which is the classification of living things. The objective of today's lesson, first, I would like you to be familiar with the word classification. And the second one, I would like you to be able to sort living things based on their common characteristic. What is classification? Classification is simply you group things. Let's see the example right now.
In this lesson, you will learn about classification. Here we have a bunch of different shapes. We're going to classify or group them in some different ways. The first way we're going to group them or classify them is by color. So let's put all the same color together. I see red here, and there's red. Let's put the yellows together. Green over here. This one's yellow, it goes over here. I see another yellow, I'm gonna put that with yellow. This one's different. Let's see, blue and blue and blue. Those go together. See green. This is a different green, but it's still green. And here's red, so red needs to come over here with the red things. So we have yellow together, green together, blue together, red together, and orange together. There's just one orange, so it's its own group. Okay. We can also classify it by, let's say, triangles and not triangles. So I see this is a triangle, this is a triangle, that's a triangle, that's a triangle, this is not. This is a triangle, and all of these shapes are not triangles. So we have one group of triangles and one group that is not triangles. Let's do one more. Let's do rounded edges and straight edges. If it has a rounded edge, we're going to put it over here. If it has all straight edges, we're going to put them over here. Triangles have all straight edges, so they stay. These rectangles can come over. This one has a rounded edge there. Square does not, comes over there. The square comes over here. Rounded, 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 and rounded. And these shapes all have all straight edges. So that's another way to classify. That's the end of our lesson on classification.
After watching the example video of classification, now have you understand what classification is? Let me review for you a little bit. Classification is simply grouping things based on their similarities or difference. Atau dalam bahasa Indonesia, ketika kita mengklasifikasi sesuatu, berarti kita mengelompokkan benda-benda tersebut berdasarkan ciri-ciri yang sama atau perbedaan yang mereka miliki. Lalu kita tempatkan mereka ke dalam suatu grup yang sama. Object or things in the same group should share the same characteristic that cannot be found in other group. Now let's take a look at this picture. These objects are already classified. Now let's take a look at each group. What do they have in common? Yes, they have the same color. Jadi teman-teman, ketika teman-teman menggrupkan suatu benda, dalam satu grup yang sama, benda tersebut harus memiliki ciri-ciri yang sama dengan benda yang lainnya. Seperti contoh di gambar. So that's classification. Easy, right?
Now you already know what classification is. Now let's talk about the classifications of living things. Scientists already help us by grouping them into several groups. The first one is the animal, the second one is the plant, and the third one is fungi, and the fourth one is bacteria. For today, we are going to discuss some of the group in animals kingdom. Let's check the video.
Are you ready for the classification of living things? Please stay focused. Like I told you, scientists already help us to classify living things into several groups. The first one is animals, the second is plant, the third is fungi, and the fourth is bacteria. For Now, in P3, you are going to learn how to classify animals and also plants. There are 6 classifications in animals kingdom. The first is mammal, second bird, the third is fish, the fourth is insect, the fifth is reptiles, and the sixth is amphibians. For today, we are going to learn the first 3, mammals, birds, and fish. These are the keywords of our today's lesson. Classification, characteristic, beak, wings, feather, fur, fins, scales, gill. If we want to be able to classify animal, we have to know what are their common characteristic. Kalau kita mau bisa mengelompokkan hewan, kita harus tahu apa sih ciri-ciri yang mereka miliki. First, a group of mammals. What are the same characteristic that they have in common? Take a look at the animal example that I put here. Can you see what is the similarities that they have with each other? Here are the similarities that they share with each other. Most of all mammals, they have fur atau rambut. And then the female of the mammals, they produce milk. And then the third, all mammals give birth. So if there is animal that have fur, produce milk, and give birth, we can classify them into mammals. Birds. What are the characteristics that they have in common? Look at these beautiful birds. Can you see what are their similarities? Kelihatan nggak teman-teman mereka tuh apa ya kesamaannya? There are 4 common characteristics or similarities of bird that I will share with you. The first one, all birds have beak. And then the second one, they have feather. Their body is covered by feather. The third one, usually birds have wings. That's why some of them can fly. However, there are also birds that cannot fly. And then the fourth one, they are lay eggs atau bertelur. So if there is animal that have beak, covered by feather, have wings, and lay eggs, we can categorize them into birds. Now, how about fish? What characteristic do they have in common? There are many kinds of fish in this world, but we can categorize them into those who live in the ocean and those who live in the fresh water. How about their common characteristic? Is it the same for the fish that live in the ocean and live in the fresh water? Yes, they are the same. The first one, all fish, they have gills. That's what they use to breathe in the water. And then the second one, they have fins. These fins is used to help them swim. The last one is scales. Most fish have scale. The scales is used to protect them. So again, an animal that has gills, fins, and scales can be classified as fish. Now, how about whale and dolphin? They do live underwater, but do they have gills? Are they fish? Okay, that's all for today's lesson. Let's try to remember their common characteristic. Or if you find it too hard to just remember word by word, you can learn to observe the animal closely and you can find what are their similarities.
Okay, now you already learned some of the common characteristics of group in animals. Thank you for watching. I hope you remember all those common characteristics. See you in the next video. Bye!